Hey, Chris, if you can hear me, you guys are muted to me on here.
Should we just amend the agenda?
Yeah, we'll just start it. Set it muted until we got started.
Yeah,
Okay,
Stan,
Kathy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You?
Hello there. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing well today.
Are you ready for the holidays? Holiday?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm
You
ready.
ready?
Do the pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is Bo online?
Yep, right here.
Okay, I see you, Bo. Very good. Let roll call show that everybody is present. Bo is on remotely. Will guests please introduce themselves?
Sure. I'm Jim Lawrence.
I'm Carl Falk and I'm with him.
Whether he wants to be or not.
And online, I have Ben Levinger, Mike Hansen, Ryan Robinson, Wanda Wise, Kyle, Leto, I apologize,
I think.
and Mike, and one other unknown person.
Okay. Executive session I'd like to amend the agenda for, I don't believe there's any reason for our executive session
I would
today.
move we strike the executive session from the agenda.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded that we remove the executive session from the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Let's go public hearing Shoshone Master Plan.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Ben Levinger to take over and present.
First off, can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. I never know with technology. So I'm going to share the screen. So hang on one second. Can everybody see the proposal up on their screens now?
Yes.
Great. So if I hadn't talked to you guys or anybody in the room that I can't see, I'm sorry. My name is Ben Levinger with Downtown Redevelopment Services. We were in town last week helping with the revitalization roadmap. And then I've got Michael Hansen here with Jones and DeMills, which is also Rural Community Consultant, same company. And we've also got Ryan Robinson with Jones and DeMills and Rural Community Consultants on the line. What I wanted to do was take the chance to go through this with you guys, answer any questions.
Ben, you're breaking up.
Oh, can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Wanted to take the opportunity to go through this and make sure there are any questions that may have popped up or answered or anything else that we need to take care of from the consultant side is there, and then explain the overall process of a master plan. So Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you to explain the proposal a little bit.
You bet. So Mike Hansen, Ryan Robinson, we do general plans and master plans. It just depends on which state, what you call it. But it's the idea that it's the highest level, the kind of the spirit of the law, so to speak. It's the vision of the community. And so in a nutshell, our approach is to invest heavily in gathering that vision. And then once we have that, the tactical planning part is actually, well, first of all, the public doesn't really get that interested when we start talking about goals and policies and such. They really get interested when you talk about the future of the neighborhood. And so that's, at the highest level, that's one of the things that our firm likes to do is focus on vision first. But we do have, that value proposition summary. We think we can do it in a way that, well, it works. We are busy all the time doing master plans and general plans for towns. And though every town will say they're unique, we have found that there are some common threads in how communities make decisions and such, and we've refined our process pretty well. So the way we would just, again, at the highest level, the way we want to structure our team, I think we can scroll down to 3, page 3, if you want to see that. The way we were going to structure it, Ryan is the smart guy on our team. He will probably dive right into your housing. He's just really good at housing, and so he can get into that. While I can, help Ben, support him through the visioning and the community input process. Ryan's good at gathering up all our data and putting it in a way that normal people can understand. We'll probably emphasize those. Ben, of course, knows the town the best out of the 3 of us, and so he's going to help lead kind of the economy and the big picture vision element. What do we have after that? I'm trying to remember what page. On the proposal, yeah, let's look at this one just for a minute. Sorry, if you go up just a bit, page 4. On page 4, I'll just want to draw your attention to, it's got a green Q on it. Anyway, it's something value add we wanted to provide to the community. We know that planning is critical, but if you just created a master plan, it will just sit on your shelf. It won't move the needle for the community. There's value in doing the planning. And planners will tell you, half the value of a plan initiative is the actual conversation that's going on there. But we believe you need to have a little bit more than just that. And so that green Q on the bottom, that's just a platform that we've built of best practices to help you go from vision straight into your land use codes and your implementation strategies. So we'll stay working with you for 12 months through that platform. And like I say, things will come out of your master plan that we can answer with that. So I know that was pretty vague, but that's something that makes us unique, we think. We've talked about our firms, our experience. We could answer any questions you have about those. We write codes for giant counties. And we do master plans for very, very small communities. Our smallest town we've ever done, I think, is population 100 and I want to say 10 year-round residents. It's a ski resort town. It was kind of a weird, unique thing. We did the town that's right there at the mouth of Bryce Canyon National Park. It's called Bryce Canyon City, and it's owned by the resort. That was an interesting project. But we're working in a county right now with 53, I think, thousand residents. Major employers, things like that. So, we like I said earlier, we've seen a lot. We think that we can move forward. We've worked with Ben wherever we can. We worked on a project together in Utah that we think turned out pretty good. We ended up giving the client exactly what they wanted, which isn't what we wanted on every part, but we remind ourselves, we work for you. It's your plan. We'll give you the best advice we've got, and then you'll just be the ones that run with it. So anyway, as far as other other pages that we would want to talk through, I think the methodology, I hope I captured that. Just basically vision first. But if we could scroll down to page 10, And I don't know if you'll be able to read it for those that are online, that deliverable description. This has been kind of a fun, this is supposed to be a table of contents that we would guess without even starting a project. We would guess your final ends up being very similar to this. And that's just based on our years of experience that, you know, every town says they want to be unique and they go these very divergent paths on, you know, what they say their priorities are. But it's funny because by the time you get done, and it's, again, the giant counties and the really small resort towns, we end up with a table of contents that's not too different than this. And of course, and like I said, and I will say it 100 times, it's your plan. If you want us to emphasize A more than B, that's what we'll work on. But I do notice that as we talk to the community, these are the things that tend to come out. You'll have an introduction section that just basically is the legal framework. The community context, that vision, that will be probably the keystone part of this project. And we hope that Ben can lead that, and we'll support him in gathering that public input. And I do want to talk about public input here in a minute. Then we get into, I'm sorry, yeah, please.
So everybody understands, you'll see the 5-year action plan at the end. What's envisioned out of this 5-year action plan is that's going to more or less function as your executive summary for your master plan update. So it's going to be what you guys do for the first 5 years. We want to give you guys time frames, cost estimates, who's going to take care of what, when needs to be put in. Even list a few grant opportunities that typically come up both state and federally that you can utilize to funds. But the big thing is, we know this master plan is going to be a longer document. So our goal was to give you this 5-year action plan with something that functions kind of like an executive summary. But the purpose is it's something for you guys to work off of for the next 3 to 5 years.
And something that I love to preach, and I will preach it, you will not hear this, this will not be the last time you hear me preach this at you. That 5-year action plan, one of the biggest favors I believe you can do for the community in the roles that you have right now, you do a plan, you hear everybody, you write it down, right? You've created this plan, but you know the tactical day-to-day is going to start suffocating that vision if you're not careful. So if the town board, if the town council, once a year, and I always recommend it's right before budget season, you know, before all those requests, you know, everybody that's got these ideas on how the town should spend their money in the coming year, if you can just take an hour and take that 5-year action plan, pull the general plan out, and maybe grab your planning commission and your town council all together, have them just remember, here's the vision. Remember, guys, this is what we were trying to build. If you do that, then as a council member, I believe that you will start to be able to, you know, hopefully consciously, but even if it's subconsciously, you're sorting out these requests that you're going to get bombarded with that's an expense request and that's an investment request. And there's a huge difference to me, you know, whether a new fire station really is in the vision or if it's just the fire department's the best, you know, sales pitch at the time. So again, we're trying to help you regulate land use and make good capital improvement investments with this plan. The 5-year action plan, that's the linchpin. You've got to have it. So you can see some of those others. Because we work with an engineering firm that's 120, 130 folks. We've got some in Evanston down there. You'll get an infrastructure chapter that I would argue is going to be better than what you'd find in other plans. I'm always disappointed that most planning consultants kind of gloss over that. They'll talk roads, but that's about where they stop. We don't think that's responsible. The other thing is we have some data sets for risk and emergency preparedness. The short way to put it on a table of contents like this is you call it resiliency. But, you know, where are those potential shocks, you know, like a COVID pandemic? Where are those in your potential future? You know, in some of the other areas we've worked in, earthquake is a huge potential, and never do they talk about it. Or if they do, it's the emergency department has their plan, and the land guys have their plan, and never do the two talk to each other. We are not those consultants. We bring those together, and we want to have a good element in your plan for that. And just like I say, all these pieces have to tie together. You know, so left hand and right hand know what they're doing. Let's scroll down to that next page, that public interaction one. This is the key, and with the pandemic, I gotta say, we've just finished a general plan for a community where we signed our contract in end of February. No, it was mid-February, something like that. And 2 weeks after we have our contract, where we talked about we're going to come down and have, you know, open houses and parades and all that, then COVID happened and everything shut down. We asked the city if they wanted us to wait. They said no. And so we pivoted off of that, and we created an online platform that we actually generated more interest and input from the online path than we do in a typical in-person process. So, you know, I'll read this. Oh, sorry.
On that topic, we know that Shoshone has a group of people that are, I don't want to say online adverse, but I think that might be the polite way to say it. So we want to make sure whatever we do for the community, we're meeting all the groups. So we're willing to come out and do some online trainings with people. We're willing to do in-person meetings, make sure they're socially distant. And as we had talked about last week, we've actually even got tentative approval from the school district to help distribute the news about meetings, and they're willing to help give spaces in their new atrium area, which, by the way, is a beautiful school, to help us facilitate if we need to be more socially distant and put things on tables and give everybody markers. Whatever we got to do, we're happy to work through that, knowing that through this process, regulations are going to change as things get better or worse, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's our point, is we are flexible. We can do both. We like to do both. Social media is a funny thing. I don't have a Facebook. I don't know what it even looks like, but I can tell you, I know how to advertise on it. I can get the community to take a survey that I've never seen and never will, because I don't know what that stuff is. But anyway, we do pivot off of both. So. Other than that, the last little piece, and I'm sorry if I'm taking too long, but the fine print is on the left. It should be the same as what's on the pictures on the right. The blue would be Ben's team and Ben's leadership. We think that he'd do good 3/4 of the work we need for the visioning phase. We would support him, with the rest. We will then take the findings from that, and there will be a report and some good notes generated off that. We then would take that, and our team will then crunch it into a plan, and that's that planning phase that you see there. The gray that doesn't look very gray, I'm sorry about that. That's our engineering team that will come in and take a look at how you're doing things and look at all your master plans and translate those into, comprehensive speak instead of just utility speak. And then we go back to, sorry?
We would have the engineers take a look at your infrastructure system to make sure things are right sized. As development happens in your downtown core, your commercial corridors, all those other areas, we would make sure that the infrastructure is right sized, and not just roadways, sanitary lines. And as we had talked about in the council as a group, looking at ways where storm sewer could maybe be installed without necessarily needing the storm sewer lines. So storm cells, so you can install curb, gutter, do some more sidewalks, more safe routes to school stuff, and that type of stuff as well.
And you put it in writing. And anyway, that's going to be a good element to get that plan put together. And then what we do through the end of that planning phase, that's where the public, of course, they'll be involved through the whole thing, but that's where you get your big approval hearing. But once it's approved, that's why you see a third button there. We're not done when your plan is approved. We then build the action plan based on whatever you folks want to go with. We then translate that into the who, what, when of how you're going to, make this vision more of a reality. I'll tell you just as a last, a parting note, one thing that Ryan and I we're kind of excited about it every time we do a new plan. there's a way to write, we call it the art and the science of writing a master plan. We want to write a plan that we can't wait for the next team to pull off the shelf whenever you update. Say you update this in 5-10 years. When you pull it off, we want this plan to say, these were our assumptions. You know, we thought that A, B, and C was going to happen. Therefore, we moved down these directions. And we want them to just, your next plan is going to say, it's going to write itself. We were correct on this and this. This was more than we thought. And now we want to do more of whatever. Anyway, we're pretty excited about master plans. I know that makes us nerds, but we'll go on the record saying that that's just what we do. We like this stuff. Anyway, that was kind of the proposal in a nutshell, or whirlwind. Any questions for our team?
When I talked to Ben, he said primarily most of the communities, your target is communities under 20,000. So
Oh, yeah.
Sort of specialize in smaller communities like what we have. Actually, we're mid-sized in Wyoming, but
Yeah. So yeah, that's in our brand. I mean, we are rural community consultants. We understand you guys just in your personal life. You're wearing what, 5-6 hats, and in your city life, you're probably wearing more than one as well. So we do the same thing. We can speak budget issues. We want to be able to speak, you know, your legal issues, your land use, your infrastructure. We don't pretend to be engineers and you know, attorneys, but we've got them on our team and we know how to find them. We know what language they're speaking. But yeah, that's definitely been our focus.
and the big idea of this would be we develop with the community a plan forward, a master plan, a vision of what we're trying to do with Shoshone instead of sort of a hit or miss assault on it, even though we'll have something to guide us to try to bring us together towards a goal and try to get everybody on, get the community on board with it.
One of the things that we will do, just as an example of what you're talking about, you know, if I'm an investor, say, and I want to come in and build a giant Maverick station or something, and I'm looking at Shoshone as a potential, I want to know as an investor, is this a safe place? Is it, you know, I don't know what to expect if I'm a guy from the outside. So you'll see our final, it will be a printed document, obviously, but we're also going to incorporate it into your website so that they can say, I have a reasonable expectation that if I invest here with whatever, it will fit, it will, or if it won't fit, maybe it'll scare me off, which is probably save you guys some time. But it shows the world that, you know, we're not going to be perfect, but we are going to try to build this. You know, that's the goal of this plan.
To help us market our community.
Yep.
Help bring in potential business and good residents. Good citizens.
Yep. Exactly. You know, and that's what I've always told communities. If you don't tell your own story, somebody else is going to tell it for you. And even if you had the world's greatest plan, you know, if that plan's hidden somewhere, they're going to still tell themselves whatever story they come up with about you. But if you can say, here's where we are today, here's what we're trying to do realistically, and then here's the basic steps we're taking to get there, it builds credibility in the elected officials. It gives staff less headaches. Obviously we're planners. We think this is the greatest thing in the world.
Well, and having a master plan that's based on a vision of the community for certain things, such as infrastructure, which is a broad term, but having that master plan in place opens the doors for grants to make those things come to fruition and actually be able to happen versus just trying to wish it to happen.
Absolutely. In fact, statutorily, I looked it up. The Wyoming state code is word for word the same as Utah's. And basically it says, if you're a town, you got to have a plan. And then if you have a plan, which is kind of weird that they'd say that, but when you got your plan, you have to follow it with your regulation and your investments. parks, fire stations, that kind of stuff, roads, all of that has to be in a plan first. So in Utah, for example, we see all the time now these state agencies are looking for ways to say no to applicants because they don't have enough funds or there's too much competition or whatever. One of the easiest ways to do it is to point to that same part of state code or that same language. It was creepy how word to word it was. They say, I'm sorry, this application for our grant funds doesn't comply with your local, publicly developed vision, your plan. Therefore, we can't prioritize you. And it was interesting to find that exact language in Wyoming. I'm convinced more and more states are going to start pulling that strategy.
So, Mayor, to that point, as we were talking about last week, you were told that the master plan needs to be updated, prepared to be eligible for grants to show you guys have a plan in place. This is just the first step in the process. As Mike had said, you're legislatively bound to make sure your codes and your road, whatever infrastructure, capital improvement plans all support the vision to make it go in the right direction. And that's what the Business Council will tell you. It's also what the state's going to tell you when you go to apply for the grants for your infrastructure.
I think Utah copied Wyoming's plan, by the way.
Yeah, probably did.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah. Well,
No,
that's our proposal in a nutshell.
question, if we decide to move forward on this, in planning, when would you move forward? Or what time frame are we looking at right now?
Well, I can tell you, our team is ready to go. We know with the holidays, you get, the public doesn't think city so much, and you folks might not even hold a December meeting or whatever. But that would give us, for example, if it was go today, we could do that. We have plenty of data that we could collect and put exhibits together and help you, tighten up the website so it shows the public what's going on, before you announce it and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. And Mayor, I think what we had talked about originally was building off the momentum from the roadmap process to create that, go into the visioning process to make people realize that it's, you guys are moving forward with something. And I think there's something to be said about the visioning process being completed partially between Thanksgiving and Christmas. At least we could get the survey announced out there, or conduct a one-on-one or things as people would desire. And we can gather feedback to kind of hit the ground running more expeditiously, let's say January 1.
Okay. No, I believe we should move on this and start the process sooner the better. We can use this as not only will it guide us, the governing body and the town guide us on a pathway, but it also help us market our town with potential businesses that may want to move to town. This helps, I believe, put this together. They can help us with our housing and subdivisions. Look at our, we're working on our water system. We got sewer system. We need, I think this would be an awful good tool for the town, a real investment the town would be making right now into the future of Shoshone.
I think we need to have a master plan developed. If there is one in place, I haven't seen it.
Well, without a master plan, it limits what I can go out and do to help the town for
Right.
lots of things.
And plus the way they're talking about going about doing it, it's not our master plan, it's the town's master plan.
Yes.
And I really like the way that they're looking at going about things.
Just the way they came in for the first.
Well, I enjoyed our visit with Ben. He was very knowledgeable, and some of the things he was saying make complete sense to me. Things I hadn't thought of.
Even said a thing or two that I didn't want to hear.
Yep.
But he was pretty honest.
That'll do.
You know what I mean? That's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm excited for this. I think it is something we need to move forward with.
How long will this master plan last?
And that's up to what you folks do, but typical plans, you want to have a long horizon, but your actions, you need I like the 5-year or 5-year action plan, sorry. If you try to drag it out too far, it's just going to fall apart. But 5 years gives you some good accountability. Now, the vision, you need to look bigger. You need to look beyond 5 years. You know, Bruce Lee says you punch through the guy's face. I thought that was a little weird, but I don't know. It's late. It's been a long day.
Mike, on that topic, most communities have a 10-year rule where it's either updated or re-envisioned after 10 years. And it doesn't have to be a full rewrite at that point. You can just go in and whatever's changed, let's say housing, you guys have a housing boom. Now you have to look at your infrastructure again, your transportation systems, and you just kind of update it a little bit from there on out. And we will give you this file in an editable format. So when that edit comes up, there's something for the group to work with.
Yep. You know, when we're working with a little town down by Zion National Park, we just closed their contract out today. What they do with their master plan is really interesting. They have a plan. So they went through, they asked everybody, they wrote it all down. It's a pretty simple plan. But about it's not every year, but I think it's in every other year, they just conduct a survey and they ask the same questions. And what they're doing is they're checking the pulse on the community. And their big thing is they want to stay residential. For some reason, they just can't bear the idea of having any commercial development. And so they ask everybody, you know, every year, every other year type thing, do you still want that? And when they started to see a change in the community, they said, well, it's a lot of change, so let's bring in a consultant. But you know, barring that, they just did it themselves. They said this plan still reflects the same vision. Now they didn't have a good, you know, action plan, but I mean their goals were to stay the same, which was kind of hard to do. But anyway, one thing I was playing around with your website, you've already got the ability to do that. You have an opinion polls, you know, button built into your site today. You could fire that thing up a year from now and, you know, hey, do you still feel the same way? You know, that kind of thing.
Right, put that in the action plan to make it part of the plan to revisit it in 2 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a thought.
Yep.
Can I get a motion to move forward on this?
I so moved that we move forward on this. And get an action plan.
I'll second.
So, okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the proposal for $35,000. That's going to be a not to exceed, correct?
Correct. That'll be a lump sum. And the way we typically do it is we just bill you, you know, when we get our busy season, your invoice will be a little bit more, but we're not going to go over unless you want us to.
Okay, been moved and second. Discussion. Chris, where would we get the funding to pay for it?
That was my question.
In our current budget, we have the funds for 1% for capital improvements and all of review for this project, so we can use that without having to increase the budget.
I would consider that potential capital improvements. I think that follows under the guidelines.
Any more discussion? None being all in favor of accepting the proposal for not to exceed $35,000, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We can start work on that as soon as you're available, and we'll do what we can on our end to help you. Sure
You
appreciate
guys are great.
You got my email and stuff, Ben?
Yep, we'll be in touch. Then Chris, did you want me to stick around to discuss the roadmap later on on the agenda?
No, I don't have it on this one.
Okay. That's fine. It was on the email agenda you sent over that the mayor was going to talk about the roadmap.
Number 11.
Oh, yeah, under his,
Yeah.
yeah,
Under the round table.
okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it's on there for the roundtable.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want me to stick around for that and answer any questions?
I'd appreciate it. I'm sure the mayor would.
Yes,
Not a problem.
Well, Ryan and I'll bounce
we'll try
out,
to
but
be
we-
speedy. What?
Sorry.
I said we'll try to be speedy with our meeting.
I thought you
And
were
the council almost fell off their chairs.
you were an honest man, Mr. Mayor.
You know what? It's either this or I have to go watch ice dancing tonight with my daughter. So this might be more entertaining.
This is better. That's better. Well, we'll bounce off, but we sure appreciate you and we'll be back in touch.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, sir.
Enterprise fund, supplemental funding, Chris?
This is the water issue that we brought up last council meeting, and some of the issues with well 6 and having issues with our water quality and the smell being a result of well 2, and Buddy can chime in on a little bit more specifics on that. But based on what it cost last time that we went through the records for the similar repairs that are needed, it's about 21,000. That was about 2 years ago. So very price change, somewhere up to 25,000, as well as I believe there's some floats issues that I'll have to explain a little bit better. And so I would say $30,000 would be up to 30,000. Would probably need to get everything in order for what's wrong. I'll let Buddy explain that.
Well, like Chris was saying, you know, we look back through the power bills before when we had full well 2. And it's hard to tell what's going on down the hole. You can't see it. It almost, I'm gonna say it almost sounded like maybe the pump went out, which I've got a pump on hand. But we just buried it at the 21,000. Worst case scenario, it may not be. You know, it might be a heck of a lot cheaper because we already got a pump at the shop, frankly. So it's just all a hard time until we get it out of the hole. The road comes. And of course, you guys have been hearing the complaints over the water. The issue on that is well 2's down. I got well 6, and that's the only one I can run. You know, so it's like I got to supply the town with water. You know, and since then I've got well 5, had it going. Now it's tripping out again. I lost a phase on it. So it's like just keep that up. But we jumped it up a little more for the flow meters. Well, actually, like Jim during the study, I wasn't able to give an accurate production compared to our usage in town. You know, so you can't compare it when you got water loss. So I was talking with Chris, we just throw that in there to get some new flow meters on them wells too, you know. So, and I had checked into it before, and they were like, I think, $1,200 to $1,500. And these aren't the impeller type; they're electromagnetic. They don't have the impeller. That's usually what goes on with them ones that we have. Just impeller, eventually, you don't get a very accurate production. So that's kind of what Chris was explaining about.
And it's topic of where's the money going to come to pay for that. The enterprise fund, separate from the general revenue, would fund that, and that would be the excess savings that the water enterprise fund has accumulated over the years that would be utilized to improve, repair, maintain. That's what would pay for that.
About 96,000 of that, all right?
Yeah.
So what we need to do is just approve moving, you said up to 30,000.
Approve a supplemental budget to the enterprise fund so I can fund it in the budget. Up to 30,000.
I'd make a motion that we approve the supplemental budget from the enterprise fund with up to $30,000 for the purposes of having water.
Second.
Been moved and second that we approve $30,000 out of the enterprise fund and supplement the budget for repairs to our water system. Any further discussion?
I have a question for Jim on this. Would this fall under your water study, something that town would need?
Oh, yeah, we will certainly cover it. Well, what you have is if you're asking, may not, if you're not, you don't, what you got in funding for the Water Development Commission won't cover funding of the water meters.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
What are, so my question is, probably your report's not finished yet.
Yeah.
Would this fall, these improvements fall under your recommendations?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you've got to have water meters at the wells in order to make any reasonable comparison between production and consumption. So and that's one of the things that we already have planned to put in the report.
Okay. So, buddy, how many water meters are you picking up?
4.
Yeah, you have 4 wells.
Yeah, if you don't have meters at the source, at the pumps, yeah, you know, and you know how much, if we have our metered water in town, we're losing 10,000 gallons a day differential, and then we got a water break somewhere.
And that's
Years ago, we had that in town.
Oh, yeah. And we kind of fell into that with Jim,
Right.
taking him out there. I couldn't get a true accurate.
Yeah, we
what
need
I
that.
Produced compared to what the town's using because a lot of the meters weren't working.
How difficult, will you need somebody to install these meters, or can you do them yourself?
I've got Bob, Montana Controls, that we redid our telemetry system, our SCADA system.
Okay.
And he's been, the one I've been in contact, got the information off the magnetmeters.
So you could do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, physical installation, probably no problem. Getting it tied into the SCADA system. So
Right.
The
Okay.
information from those meters gets accumulated in your SCADA system. Records what that production is.
So what kind of position does that put us in then once that gets repaired pretty good, or is there some other things that need to be looked at? You see any?
Well,
Or is that still where-
I mean,
I mean, as far as the pumps, I mean, you said we were down to like one well.
We actually got 2. I got 6 and I got 4, but I like to kind of reserve 4 because it's on this side of all my other wells when
Okay,
the transmission.
so we do have
went
2,
down.
and then we get that'll be up at 3.
Right.
I guess I
And
misunderstood.
5 just lost phase. I gotta look into it. It just happened today.
Okay. Well, when you're like, well, we're down to one well, it's like, oh my God.
Well, we got a VFD stuck into well 5 because the soft start that originally was in it went out. We got the VFD put in there, finally got all that figured out, had it going. Today it kicked out, kept tripping out, kept saying a phase. So I could have dropped the leg off the power line. It was just so.
Okay, I,
So yeah, you know, but we do have 2 wells, yes.
and then that would make at least 3 when you get this repaired.
Yeah.
That happens.
And well 2 is our best producer. It's the best water.
Oldest well.
It's the oldest well.
Right.
Yeah, if you're a reclamation, quite a good job.
Okay, I just
But
kind of
again, that's-
misunderstood what you were saying.
Right, again, that one's the one with the casing, a lot of rust coming out, so. So you actually maybe camera it or, you know, with his study.
Yeah,
comes
we'll
up
have
with.
some recommendations on that. So kick some of that around with you.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry.
Yes, you need to be.
So, okay, so any further discussion? Been moved and second, all in favor of moving the $30,000 from the enterprise fund to the supplemental budget for water system repair, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Everybody had a chance to review the bills on November 7th through November 20th. Do you have any questions on the bill?
I move that we approve the bills.
Second. Been moved and second, we approve the bills from November 7th to November 20th. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes from November 10th, 2020.
I move that we approve the bill or the minutes from November 10th, 2020.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and second that we approve the minutes of November 10th, 2020. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Permits. We have a business license building permit from Ray Apodaca. Any questions on that permit?
I'd move that we approve the business license and the building permit for Ray Apodaca.
Second.
Been moved and second that we approve the business license and building permit for Ray Apodaca. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Hot Springs Health, variance on building permit. If you remember the original, the permit exceeds the allowed square footage for sign. They've made a variance request. In our ordinance, 80 square foot is max. Their sign is going to be 120 square foot. Or I mean 160, so just double. There are signs in town and near there that are that size or exceed that size. I see no issue not to grant a variance for me, a kind of a motion to do that.
My only question on that, and I dropped the ball and did not read through my book, was the legal path to do so. Did you read up on that by chance? Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
I didn't see anywhere where we had other than go by approval.
I guess that's why I
Right on the variance for that particular filing.
Right.
Do we have to contact the adjoining landowners? Is my question.
I didn't see anything.
I mean, I've read through that.
Yeah, I have read through.
Like,
I have my.
I don't know, 10 times, and I've never seen any avenue. That's why I didn't want to move on it.
I didn't see anything either, but
I mean, I
I
didn't
bet
study for it this particular
any
time, but
complications, yeah.
I see no issue with it other than getting it done legally.
Right.
Signs are under, it's weird, under our ordinances, signs are not, it says advertising signs are not, the signs are not listed in that section. They're back in the zoning of,
Yeah,
Mhm.
19.
yeah,
But that didn't really say
It
how
didn't
to.
say much.
yeah.
Hey, Ben, can you check your messages for me?
Yep, give me a second. I don't see anything in messages. Yep, there you go. Popped up. Okay. So how do I toss it back to you, Chris?
I believe you just highlight my tile and then it should show make host.
Got it. There you go.
Well, since somebody's found where you can't do it, I'd make a motion that we grant a variance and approve the building permit to Hot Springs County Health for, what's the address on that? On for the Shoshone First Edition, Block 37, Lot 2 for their sign.
Second.
That's what it says on the permit.
Mhm.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, we got.
Okay, been moved and second. Do we have any further discussion? Does anybody feel we need a opinion from our attorney?
There's nothing in the ordinance book about people adjacent to it or anything like that.
That's what that was my.
I didn't see it either.
Yeah, these are
And
in one districts.
And there are other signs of that same, yeah, very
Right.
similar. That's what I was going by, and I couldn't find any guy. It wouldn't like jut out. It wouldn't be the only one.
Call for the question.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Passed. And see, next we have alcohol consumption permit requested by. That was a variance. Okay, we need to approve the building permit.
No, I
thought
my
we-
motion was to grant a variance and approve the permit.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I apologize for interrupting.
One
I
fell
thought it was.
swoop.
They've both been approved. Okay, now we have an alcohol consumption request by Lisa Henderson, and that's down at the
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
Building.
rec building, wine,
7th of December.
7th of December.
I move we approve the alcohol permit.
Second.
Been moved and second, approve the alcohol permit down at the SRO building, December 7th. Any further discussion?
It's a SRD.
Or
not
SRD, yeah. I'll get Cody in trouble, think he's throwing a party. Yeah, down at the school.
According to the green mug that everybody.
Yeah. So, any further discussion? Other than my correction, none being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed. Do we have
Goes a long way,
anything from we got anything from a citizen that they'd like to put in? Oh, okay, they're not looking for anybody else. You were on the schedule. I'm just in case we had somebody else or somebody online that had a comment for the betterment of the community or something. None being. No unfinished business, new business. Real estate. We have a request from Tim Davis, Fast Lane, that they would want to vacate the alley on the block that they own where they're doing the construction between 3rd and 4th Street, between California and Idaho.
Right.
They'd like to vacate. Their intention is to turn that all into their business. They are
Between 2nd and 3rd Street.
or yeah, 2nd and 3rd, and California and
I don't,
Idaho, yes.
at their cost, they're removing and replacing power lines, sewer, water. I mean, Buddy's you've been involved with that, correct?
Yeah. I've talked to Tim, there is a sewer line that comes up the alley,
Yeah.
which it starts right here at Idaho. They're the first ones online, and of course, it heads west towards California. And that's the reason they was wanting to abandon it, because you're not gonna affect anybody but themselves.
Right.
So.
Okay. So this would be, my understanding, no cost to the town, and they're moving the power lines. They're putting in all new sewer and water and so there's no need, I see no need to have an alley there. I don't either.
So move we vacate the alley between Second and Third Street and between California and Idaho.
A second. Been moved and second that we vacate the alley between Second and Third Street in California and Idaho on the Fast Lane property. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Kathy, did you want to talk about the FTAG meeting or luncheon? Is that Shoshone Community Room?
Sure. What were you supposed to say?
We do got an FTAG meeting coming up.
I went to the mayor, actually Kathy and I talked about it previous, and since Shoshone is so trend setting as they are, I thought it would be kind of neat, and Kathy thought so also, that we offered to cater or, prep the food and stuff, make it a very nice event since there is no other food options here in town, that we would really go out of our way to make them feel welcome and host a really nice dinner for these people. So, I just threw that out there. Nothing's been decided, but I think it's pretty wonderful. Going with our trend setting mode right now. So,
Well, these FCAG meetings, sometimes they do have a fairly good feel. So we have a cafe, many times we'll meet before the meeting and have a meal and discuss things and go to the meeting. And sometimes in the meetings, or usually there's some kind of food and beverage available. But we don't have a cafe to come in and have a meeting before or after, or usually before on the FCAG meeting. So Kathy thought that would be a pretty good thing. That I agree that we don't have anything like this. So
There's only 2 benches and Fast Lane, so.
yeah,
So when is this meeting?
January 11th? What? Oh, what?
Wasn't
January.
it January?
I believe it is. It'd be on the 11th. Is that the right date? It don't seem
can't
right.
Remember, and we don't have.
I don't calendar. It'll be on Thursday,
Should be a Thursday.
third Thursday.
Oh, that'd be
No,
better.
should be the 3rd.
I
The
can't
second
remember.
Thursday is the 14th.
So the 21st, maybe.
And
11th is on a
21st.
Monday.
Huh?
11th is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be on a Thursday. It'll be on the
It-
21st.
21st, yeah.
And else we got a special. Else you got a special meeting. I don't know about.
No, no.
How many people are usually attend the last one?
Usually 12 to 16 or 10 to 16 if you want to call it yours.
What would you estimate the price per person would be?
Well, the venue, it has not been fully really discussed, so I can't really say at this point. And so, like you like to say, depending on menu, there's too many variables there. And so we could set parameters or whatever and go from there.
Before the council can approve it, though, we'd need
Right.
I guess.
And so, but I would say can we table it to the next meeting and we can work on a menu up to that point, and then have a better idea. And
I think it'd be great to do that.
And there, we have it in Shoshone, any council member is welcome to drop by, and even visitors to the meeting itself. We don't have to feed the whole town, but there is visitors are welcome to come there and would welcome any council member to sit in during the meeting.
What time is the meeting?
It'll be at 1:30. And typically they last till between 4 and 5 is a typical meeting. We usually have, most times we'll have at least one county commissioner there. Mental health, sometimes we have a variety of people. Sometimes have YDOG there. Depends on what's going on. I have to look at our agenda and see what is.
Why not, sir? You put the squeeze on them about approval for our Jake break signs.
Oh, we will. We've mentioned that. And then the one I really enjoyed when we had solid waste.
This whole lost it for a while.
But we was discussing our Shoshone
Situation.
Yes, that was pretty enjoyable. But had them outnumbered for once instead of me just being there by myself. Yeah. But anyway, the meetings can be very interesting. Idea Inc. is there quite a bit. This discussing, and we have a great group of mayors that all pretty get along. WRTA is, of course, basically an offspring of FCAG. We work with the airport, with FAST, airplane service, and ID Inc. I mean, at Lander Chamber, we usually have somebody there. Lander and Riverton both usually have 2 representatives at the meeting.
I'm thinking if we're having that here, something should be done.
I mean,
Good.
Yes, something along the lines of hospitality should be done.
and that was Kathy brought it up to me, and I agree with her.
Which one? That one?
Yeah, that Kathy.
That's an excellent
Both
idea.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Both Kathy.
Yeah.
That's an excellent idea.
Thank
I didn't want to tell the wrong Kathy. It was an
Well, it's
excellent idea.
absolutely.
They tag teamed me on this idea. They're both involved with it. But no, it's a good thing to show a little hospitality.
It's the right thing to do, I think.
So I'm open for suggestions if you.
Well, I
guys-
thought you said you were gonna table it till the next meeting.
Right, but I mean, think about it, roll it around, see me around, just, I'm open for suggestions if you happen to come in.
Work on a menu and a budget
Okay,
type of thing.
okay.
And, thanks for bringing that up, Kathy.
I'm just say helpful.
Snyder Construction, change order number 1. I think Kyle was on here to talk about it. Kyle?
Yep, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. So as you're all probably pretty aware, the sidewalk project's kind of coming to an end. I think they did a pretty good job knocking that out and getting everything done. And so this change order is the only change order we're going to have for the project, and it's basically to account for some things and kind of helps close out the project. So the change order includes $1,000 for road base and gravel that they use on some of those properties around town. That as they had backfilled some of the material that was existing there, it was a little bit sandy, and so it made sense to use some road base and gravel to kind of help with driveways and whatnot. And then there was $1,000 for saw cutting curbs and crosswalk ramps on Idaho Street. And then the change order also includes a final quantity adjustment. Basically, for these projects, we estimate quantities initially, and then every project we have a change order that adjusts things to what were actually built in the field. And so this final quantity adjustment includes a contract price reduction of $7,455.30. So if you take that into account with the $2,000 they used for the other items I mentioned above, the total contract price reduction will be $5,455.30. And so I won't go into a lot of detail as far as like what that reduces the overall contract price to, but I'd stand for any questions if there are any.
I've heard good things about the sidewalk, good quality, filling in the sides and along the edges of the sidewalk, packing them down. Snyder's did a good job on it.
Yeah, that was a good decision to get the wrong base, put that in. Yeah, when they come back through and did their final deal, that made it nice.
Big difference.
Yeah, I know, Jake, that was kind of one of your concerns that you and I talked about.
I did. I complained. I could have been like some other people. Oh man. Anyways, I was complaining because I had beautiful road base. Well, pretty beautiful. And then I come back and it's powder, sand that I can't even footprint in. Just fluffy stuff. So I appreciate that.
Yep. And for the price, it was, I think it was well worth it to do that. Those guys were pretty fast. They were pouring a block of concrete or a block like once a day, like almost every other day they're pouring concrete. It seemed like it was kind of night and day from this project and the last project. They were Snyder did a really good job and they were good to work with.
I so moved that we approve the change order.
It's been moved. I got a second? Second. Moved second that we approve Snyder Construction change order number 1. Any further discussion? None being all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Snyder Construction payment application number 3, the amount of $70,295.01.
So this payment application pays for all of the work that they've done to date, and it includes the change order. So part of the reason we approved the change order first is because I had to roll that up into this pay app, and so this payment application includes that contract price reduction. And so basically, we'll have one more payment application after this one, and it'll be to release retainage. I've started the 41-day advertisement period, started that November 20th. So the contractor will be, assuming we don't have any claims or anything show up on the project, then we'll want to have that final payment ready on December 30th, being the 41st day. So there'll be another payment application coming after this to release that retainage, and I'll probably try to do that sometime in December, contingent on, approving that beforehand, but making it contingent that there's no claims or anything that come up in that next 41-day advertisement period. So I guess if there's any questions on this payment application, please let me know and I'll try to answer them.
I move we release $70,295.01 to Snyder Construction for payment number 3.
Second.
Been moved and second that, Starter Construction will pay them $70,295.01. Payment application number 3. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion passed. Clerk's report, Chris.
On the continuing town audit from July 2018 through June 2019, the digital scanning that's been being conducted, part of our archiving, also was for that. We put a point of emphasis on the audit period. That has been completed for the audit period, and hard drive has been sent down to the auditor's office so they can follow up on any information they need real time from our records that we sent. And the expected timeline for the results of the audit is expected before the end of the year. The audit results will be publicly available. And I'll get the information out to council to distribute out to the citizens on where to find that or how to request a copy of that when it is complete. Our fiscal forecast on revenue, continue to see strong sales and use tax revenue, which was previously stated to be expected. And so far it's coming in as expected. Our second distribution of supplemental funding, the cut appears to be less severe than initially expected. Appears to be a singularly modest cut. So that's good news. We won't know, obviously, until next year, but it seems that that's where the direction is going towards. So it'd be less impactful than we had initially expected when we did our budget. And then also looking forward with the master plan, expanding opportunities for additional grant funding, which lays the groundwork for next year to be able to begin applying for and hopefully receiving funding for infrastructure improvements, including water, sewer, and roads, and other critical needs for Shoshone. And then I wanted to read a letter that we received from, I know this is somewhat more of the police side of things, but follow with me, is somewhat relevant. So this was a letter from a traveler through who was issued a speeding ticket. And she decided to write a letter to the court after a conversation with town hall. So in her words, "Thank you for allowing me some leeway in paying my speeding ticket. I really appreciate it. I received a speeding ticket on the second day of a 12-day solo cross-country drive from the west coast of Washington, D.C., a long-held dream of mine. It was my first time in Wyoming. You have a beautiful state. I cannot wait to visit again. During a trip of many firsts, it was only fitting that I received my first speeding ticket. Officer O'Neill, who is our new officer, was courteous and polite and did his job with grace. I thank him for it. As I drove through this magnificent country, I saw many signs pointing to our current political division. It strikes me that based on the state-by-state election results, you and I may stand on opposite sides of the political spectrum. Perhaps you are not as hopeful as I following the results." This was dated February 13th, by the way. I just wanted to let you know that while I'm very hopeful that President-elect Biden can heal us of the division, it does not compare to the hope and faith with which I am infused following simple, honest, heartfelt interactions like our phone call earlier this week. It is in the small human moments where I find my strength, even a stranger. I wanted to share with you and thank you for reinforcing my hope and faith. Enclosed, please find a money order for $140, a copy of my citation, and a picture of Officer O'Neill and me. Admittedly, not my best angle. If you can send me a receipt, I would really appreciate it. I wish you and your family health and happiness and hope for the future. Best wishes, Christiana Cantu. Obviously, she believes that we're all staunch Republicans, and she is honest. Not. But with that, I wanted to say, Kathy, I appreciate your professionalism on the phone, and job well done. And thank you. And that was a segue into just a holiday message I wanted to include in my clerk's report, since it is the last meeting before Thanksgiving. The founding of our country was not done with unanimous agreement, but was a result of many with differing thoughts and ideas. Only through mutual understanding and putting aside differences were we able to come together to form the greatest country known to man. The letter from Christiana exemplifies how those with polar opposite philosophical ideals can be civil, understanding, and most importantly, grateful for the willingness of others to have compassion. This Thanksgiving, I am grateful to know that in these troubling and polarized times, there are still people willing to put aside their snide remarks, finding whatever flaw they can see to criticize the other, or place themselves on a self-perceived moral pedestal to look down upon others and condemn, but instead find a path forward and end with agreement, compromise, and best of all, hope. I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Kathy. That's not the first compliment I've heard. That's what best well written that I've heard on the compliments of how the Shoshone PD and the clerk staff and the court all handle speeding tickets.
She gets a few doozy phone calls, so
Yeah,
Recently.
good job.
yes, thank you. Bud,
I don't know if the last council meeting, Chris told you we got accepted through the health department for our COVID testing through our wastewater, which we did. We did receive our composite sample. Start doing that. Touch on your engine brake. I had sent it in.
I
Know the ordinance, and the ordinance has Riverside still in our ordinance, but it's crossed out and she's showing real behind. Why not do a red flag? Was this actually adopted by the town? You know,
Oh, yeah.
so I've been working on getting that straight. If I got it straight, we'll send some more paperwork to Chrome and
I did see that when I was reading
engine breakup.
something about it.
It was the ordinance say Riverside and crossed out. She's showing behind. So I
Put a
can
white
see
out.
where they had a question on, like, well, was it really adopted, or you just taking Riverside's ordinance and saying that she's already what? But anyway, we did get the basketball court down there sealed before snow flies, so we did get that done. Another thing I want to touch on, I talked to Kathy about the breakfast with Santa. She talked about getting the fire truck again, which I'm no longer with fire department. I was there. I had brought it up that we had the old 52 fire truck, the old Shoshone fire truck. Get that going to actually take samples around, bring them around. So thing did start right up. We jumped it and started up with the old gas in there. And you know, it hasn't run for 3 years or so, but it started up. We did have an issue with the water pump in it, which we might be able to get a water pump for it. Had to come out of Salt Lake or something like that. But anyway, so it's still a possibility we'll be able to do that. Me and Chris have been working on getting some electrical flowing down on the bathroom that we got moved over there. Light the trees up, you know, decorated and possibly have Santa Claus go down there and set with the fireplace going, but kids come out there. So Santa laugh, tell them what they want or whatever. Have them trees lit up. So
Don't send them down the chimney. Just don't send them down the chimney.
So the other one was I know Jim's brought it up before, this base rate that we go through during the winter, you know, and it's been brought up already. I don't, at least this year, I don't advise going to reading meters. The reason I'm saying that is it would take us a month to read meters. snow flies. Because a lot of them are pits that get covered with snow, ice. We'd have to take a metal detector out there, just vision that can't see out through the snow. It would take a while, you know. There's something to keep in mind, maybe next year, look at like radio reads. To be able to read through the winter months. I talked to Ferguson, had been about a year ago, about these radio reads, maybe longer than that, because I don't think Highsmith was Maryland. But anyway, at that time, they were like $150 for the radio reads per house with these meters. And they're fairly simple to hook up. You just hook them to your touchpad. The big expense is the program, she said. I never get a price on programming, so it's just something. With this water study, you know, Jim brought up that through the winter we can't compare our usage to our, again, back to wells.
Right.
But compared to that, so.
Well, can't we read the meters? You know, so we don't read it for 4 months. We still read the meter and we can get the gallonage that the house used.
Once we go into a base rate, we always, I think it's in April, we pick up again. We get a first read. So once you read it, you're gonna see their usage.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You could, if we track that, we just,
for months, you know. That
we
would
won't
be-
know per month, but we know the usage that
Right,
house
right.
did for the 4 or 5 months at the base.
We know that somewhere 2.5 months ago, we developed a heck of a leak.
But I know it's been talked about going out and reading through the winter. At this one, I wouldn't advise it. You know,
Yeah.
we're really not set up for it right now. And right now with our well situation, I mean, they're real, I mean, you get to read the meters in town, but still we got our wells that we can't compare it to. So,
Right.
you know, I mean, there's things that maybe finance chair would possibly look at radio reads, you know. But like I say, you know,
Well, I'm sure that's probably gonna be in Jim's recommendation.
right. But on that note, I'm hoping to read the meter possibly tomorrow. Or probably ask if that can be our last read for the winter and go to a base rate, you know. I mean, it's hard telling when the snow's gonna fly. But, I'm not aware of
Should be
that,
good.
so, but
But
it may not. I mean, you
You're
know,
talking
so
too,
that's-
that you could probably pick it back up in March too, so it's.
Right. So years before, it was April, we'd do our first read, may be our second, we'd charge off. So yeah, we may be able to shorten it up, you know, for this year. So.
Okay.
kinda Maybe after this read, go to a base rate, you know, for this winter.
I'm good with that.
About all I really have.
What's progress in the grader?
What's that?
The grader progress? None? Okay,
I've been so busy with all this other stuff, like.
I've checked in on a few auctions. I hadn't seen one that fit our needs for our budget.
Right.
Yeah,
like I say,
I'm getting
you know,
emails from the auctioneers on motor graders.
But I've had a lot
Yeah.
of these contractors like with Fastlane, they're wanting to hurry up and get a lot done before the snow does fly. Got another contractor down behind the medical clinic that's wanting to move a bunch of trailers in. Put in water lines, sewer lines before the snow flies. They ran into a 4-inch line that ran right through the property that we had no idea was there. So it's kind of been a fiasco. So.
was it live?
Oh, yeah.
They called Saturday morning saying they hit a line. I expected a 3/4 inch line or 1-inch line. I ran out at the corner, I looked out there and the whole field was nothing but water. It's like, that ain't no 1-inch line. It's a 4-inch line. So we had no idea. So. Been dealing with that.
Where does it go? The highway department?
No,
It's over there. for that.
Third Street goes straight down to the east. And there's a 6-inch line that goes straight down to the highway road. This one went north off that 6-inch, right down dead center, all them lots. Did. So
Bebout's had the man camp.
along with, what we found, three 1-inch lines so far. But there's was supposedly 5 of these 4-inch taps and we found 1. The way we don't want to find it. But- So I don't know. No mapping, so of course it's jotted in on the map now.
Yeah.
So. That's all I've got.
Thank you.
See, Jim, were you gonna jump in here about now?
Well, whatever you want.
This would be a good time.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Bud already brought it up. We would really like to see the meters read during the winter months. To the degree that you folks can do it, would really help us get a handle on how your usage varies month to month. And without those residential meter readings, we're not certain, we're just guessing. But it's not critical, but it would sure be useful to have. So whatever you folks decide on that. We talked also about getting those mag meters on the wells, getting those tied into your SCADA system. That is going to be one of the recommendations of our report anyway. So if you implement that now, that's great. The only advantage that you might have in forestalling that, which I don't think it's that much of an advantage, would be to perhaps approach the land investment board for funding to help you do that. But SLID board, that would be an eligible item there. It's not an eligible item, at least this time with the Water Development Commission. So we'd encourage you to move ahead with those. And those mechanical meters do wear out because we got moving parts in them. Mag meters and electromagnetic, and they don't wear out or not mechanically unless something goes wrong with the electronics. So they're much more stable and equally or better accuracy for sure, and much more durable. We talked with the mayor about development maybe going on in town. The mushroom plant is planning on something like 20 homes altogether.
Yes.
And so, and they've also got, or with those, you're probably going to want to, or have to address sewer. And we can dive into that at your choice. The main question is, can we get flow from the mushroom plant back to the wastewater plant? And what route would be needed to get it by gravity flow? If not, you'd have to resort to a pump station of some sort, which isn't a huge deal, but it's another piece of mechanical equipment that is going to need maintenance. But he said you didn't have enough to do anyway, so that wouldn't be a problem. There are, all joking aside, there are small sewage pump stations that can work quite well for that purpose. But you all know exactly when they're going to fail. That's either Thanksgiving evening or the day before, or Christmas Eve. So, we can take a look at that and find out what the options are. That's something you want to do. We're ready to do it. You got something like 10 trailers, or at least residences planned for the area north of Medical Bank, and that's where that orange water line made itself evident, shall we say. And so everybody's got that map and gave us the map on it. We'll get it, carve incorporated into the overall water map. It's going into the report. Then things that, once we get done with this master plan, the next stage is to go typically to a level 2 study, which will take some of the things that you're looking at and struggling with the most and develop them into enough of an information base to see the project. That's something we want to do. Before we make the recommendation of what you might study in level 2 effort, we'd like to have, of course, your ideas and Buddy's as well, to get all of those ideas incorporated into the report. Some of the things that we've seen that we would, at this point, suggest be considered in a level 2 effort is, first of all, your SCADA system. Right now, it's marginally functional normally. You can get some things read at the well, sometimes not. You don't have that integrated to your summation, your water meters here in town. So you can then make comparisons between the meters in town versus the wells and identify these stuff that show up. As well as just giving you good operational information for the system. And you move to what we would customarily recommend is you'd have a terminal here in town hall, or wherever town hall is going to end up. And you can turn wells on and off, check what your daily production is, what your consumption is, what wells are running, what wells aren't, whether the chlorinator is working, or it's not, all that kind of stuff without having to drive all the way out there to the well and check it. So that should be done daily anyway. At least you know something's going on. You check the tank level and it's just what most of the rest of the communities that had their systems upgraded are capable of doing. Decision on labor as well as answering a lot of questions that otherwise are constantly being asked. So we would also say that you've got well fits there on 5 and 6 that are a nuisance to you right now. There's no reason not to bring all that piping up above ground in housing for it to be kept from freezing, and you have those valves and stuff inside a building, not down in the pit where it makes it hard to get to, and sort of thing that nobody wants to crawl down into, particularly in winter months and so forth. So those are recent things that we are topics at least that we say ought to go into the level 2 report or level 2 effort. The well houses on number 4 and number 2 are old structures that are in the best food condition. They ought to be replaced with something much more modern and secure, like we have on wells 5 and 6. So, and then obviously well number 2 is got its problems right now. Which has nothing to do with what we perhaps recommend doing. And one thing is to perhaps run a camera down that well. And that's not as simple as it sounds, that's not an easy process. To pull the pump out of the well, run a camera down in there, and it's got to be done pretty methodically to be able to go slow enough to see what condition the casing is like all the way down. And then get a good view of what the screen itself looks like. And that's an old brass screen, which, you know, was built the days before we had stainless steel screen. So it's worth checking that out. And, you know, trying to get a better handle on what the life expectancy of that well in its casing is. And everybody pointed out, we've already seen some pretty good sized rust flakes come up the well. Because when the pump is full, when you're pulling the pump to take a look at. So there's probably other things that you folks notice, buddy who's noticed that ought to be more thoroughly looked at. You're gonna see it level one study. So before we wrap this study up, which is gonna be a couple of months yet, let's get all those things identified. Any suggestions you have, buddy has, let's get them brought out and incorporated into the report. So
Here, can I
that's
give
kind
you
of
a
a quick
message if
overview.
people are here, trouble hearing Jim? Yeah. Jim, can you speak at the microphone? We got people saying they're having trouble hearing.
Understandably, okay, thanks. The things that we are saying to be considered in the level 2 study would be, once again, looking at some of the SCADA system, that transmission failure that we keep seeing downstream of well 6, that has been ruptured pipe for about every other year, it seems. You got any trouble with it this year, everybody?
No.
Keep knocking. Yeah, but that is a problem of just one or another, we need to find a
Right.
solution to.
So,
Sure.
to proceed to apply for a levels 2 study, when should we be doing that? Because it looks like that's what you're suggesting we should do.
The Water Development Commission would like to have at least initial indications by early February, if I got time right. And anyway, between now and March 1st, I believe, is when they actually accept the application. But let's, what we're really saying is let's nail down what we think is most likely to be applied for. And that doesn't mean we can't wrap it up later on.
What's your suggestion that we do some initial work to prepare ourselves to apply for a stage 2?
Right.
And just start the ball rolling to do that. So once your phase 1 is done, we can finish taking that data and just roll into it.
Yes, right.
So we're not rushing at the end, we're prepared.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
okay.
We talked a little bit about those well pits on 5 and 6. Those are some pretty obvious things that
Sure.
ought to be updated and upgraded. Now we go into a level 2 study. So would replacement of well houses for 2 and 4 and getting those structures in much more sound condition than they are now.
A level 2 study, well, we'd be applying for a grant just like we did the level
Yes,
1 that
right.
would pay. And this lays the groundwork to apply for grants or whatever to help pay for the repairs that are needed. So
Right,
just
that
the
would
next
be
step,
under
correct?
Level 3. And that-
Yes,
And so this level 2 would be the interim study to flesh out, if you will, what we find in level 1. And that could be and I'm not suggesting we would be studying it, was, you know, looking at perhaps a new well if we need one to replace. Number two, if this investigation says, hey, that thing, its days are numbered, being really built or drilled back in 1952. You know, and so that would be what we cover in level 2. And they then, based on the funding scenarios for how we fund them, like water development, participate in some of the things we're eligible for their program. If it's other things, other improvements that are needed, more like your distribution system, you'd be applying to the SLIB for those funds.
And USDA also, correct?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the funding agencies. And in the report, we will recommend to you not only what things need to be, we recommend being upgraded, but also how they will be funded and what portion of that the town would be most likely liable for or asked to participate in, into what levels, so that you got a pretty thorough plan as to what you're going to need to be doing.
Sure.
For presumably the next 20 years with the water system.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So anyway, please put your thoughts together on what things could be incorporated in the level 2 study. And we'll get them in there just to kind of wrap up on what Buddy brought to you. He laid out the mapping as best as he can with where that newly discovered 4-inch water line is and how he integrates the rest of the system. That'll get on your mapping as well. So, and any other surprises that crop up between now and when we get the study done, let's make sure all that gets incorporated in your plan so that it's truly set up for you folks for the coming 20 years. Anything else? Any questions that you have from us at this point? Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Oh, also, I wanted to introduce to you this evening, Carl Faulkner, or Falkin rather. Carl has joined us. He's here with us. We'll probably be seeing a lot more of it.
Nice to meet you, Carl.
Welcome.
Let's talk a little bit about the revitalization roadmap. We last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we had Ben Levinger here, and he interviewed many one-on-one interviews with citizens, council members, business owners, and he also put out a poll where we're getting, have you received, I thought it was pretty interesting, you know, one of the Ben's comments for a smaller community, or I say we're mid-sized, but anyway, community near our size, that we were one of the most transparent communities that he's been involved with, but still many of the citizens were not communicating well with him. So I was telling me I wasn't doing my job in communicating what we're doing. And so we're going to do better at that, because we need to get to the citizens what we're doing. And it's part of the, you know, what we have now on Zoom. Well, this is for that, because we truly want to be transparent. We truly want to communicate to the citizens of the Shoshone what we're doing. That's a goal. So we're going to work on doing better at that. But Ben have many more people answer your survey? Just wondering, we're doing awful well, I thought.
Yeah, so you're up to 48 online, and then Chris, you handed me 13 in print form.
I have 3 more that I've received. I gotta scan and get to you as well.
We're over 60.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. And you will be taking those until the 30th of November.
Correct, till the end of the month.
So anybody that's listening and hasn't filled one out, do, because Ben's actually compiled suggestions and the questions from the citizens, and that's going to help us develop what we're doing. So if you want to get your 2 cents in work, now's your chance. So, but I was, like I said, I was very pleased with the participation and what we're getting from the citizens. What else would you like to sort of touch on?
From my side, I'd like to thank everybody for allowing me to come into town. I appreciated learning about the community. I think you have a lot of great assets to offer, and it'll be important as the community moves forward to make sure that everybody is in congruence with things that are put out there as recommendations. And it will also be important to make sure that Mayor, as you had stated, everybody understands what you're doing and why you're doing it, because I think everybody on council has the best intentions in mind, but everybody in the municipality may not understand the justifications or reasons behind decisions that are made.
Okay, Jim, you have a comment?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, as your master plan is going forward, we want to make sure that whatever findings are developed there, that those portions that are pertinent to the water system get incorporated into our report. And conversely, things that we find get related to your planning consultants, so that everything is in congruency, shall we say. And so we want to maintain good communications between them and vice versa.
Water is real important for our future, our plans.
That is the first requirement for human habitation.
Correct. Yeah, number 1. So, yeah, that's it. You'll be involved.
Okay. Thank
Appreciate it, you bet.
Any other questions from planning people?
You have any questions, Ben, for Jim? Or guidance or?
No, I'm good.
We will get their contact information from you, Mayor.
Yes.
From Chris, so that we're in communications as both these plans go forward. Thank you.
You bet. Anybody else got any comments on what we just went through with the road plan?
In what way are you not being transparent?
Where I'm not reaching people, so I think we kicked around an idea. I believe we will. It may cost us a little extra money in postage, but maybe send out at least a monthly newsletter, maybe with the water bill, put the water bill with it, and mail a monthly newsletter out that explains what we've done in the last month. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? That not everybody goes to Fast Lane or the post office or town hall or the library or goes online or the senior center. Not everybody goes online. If we mail it, I don't know if anybody else got any other ideas. I'm open, because
Mayor, we can also enter, a
I don't believe anybody can hear you, Jim, online. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, that was what was brought up.
I think if, as the water master plan moves forward, we can add a paragraph summary or something in that monthly newsletter to go with the water bill, and that would help us as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's one.
we'd be happy to do that.
Like I said, I'm open for suggestions, but I'm trying to do that. I know that's all of the governing body's desire, to be transparent, to get information out to the public.
You just as a personal comment, you folks are not alone in that problem. There's all sorts of cases that we run across where somebody says, "Well, where did that come from? And how come nobody told me?" Well, information in today's world is, at least in my view, so fragmentary. You can't cover all the sources, and even if you do, you don't get the information that people think.
Sure, and we don't have nowadays a newspaper circulation that people read. In the past, I think people read newspapers a lot more than they do now, including me.
Well, the Casper Star comes in the mailbox now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's too fragmentary, and then you get blamed for not having some seemingly small bit of information personally delivered to the public. How are they viewed?
But we need to get the information to them, so we just try to.
Well, anything that
Try
we
to
can
do-
do to assist with that effort, we'd be glad to.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, anything on that topic?
I think that mailing's a good idea once a month, because I know a few people that don't do internet or anything else. So I think that's definitely a good start.
So we'll see how that's gonna affect our budget, but we have spent a little bit more on postage. We may have enough in it, but I'm just thinking that's probably something we should do.
And Mayor, if I could, I'd like of communication from the town side. It's the lack of perception for communication that people think. And I think your administration has done a very good job over the last 2 years trying to be more open with people, but it maybe is time to fine tune how you communicate. So trying to identify the best method to communicate in groups. And more than likely, it's going to be a hybrid plan of YouTube, online, print forms, flyers, a whole bunch of things, because you have different age cohorts in town that are looking at different methods.
Thank you, yes. I would. Anything else? I got one other thing I'd like to mention. I was contacted this afternoon from the medical staff of the Church of Christ. They plan to come to Shoshone December 26th and offer free flu shots. They may be able to offer also maybe even offer free eye exams. They're working on what they put together. They're trying to, and for the town of Shoshone and our surrounding area. They're trying to get a number, how much personnel they bring and how many flu shots they bring, eye exams. They may be offering free eyeglasses too. They're working on it for people that might need glasses. That they're again, and I don't know what else they'll be passing out, but they want to be good citizens for the town and try to help people that to help the community. They want to be a good part of the community, but like I said, I got a call this afternoon from their medical staff that they said that they're going to be coming out here from California. They said they'll be here on the December 26th is their plan. They're just trying to figure out the interest. I did mention to them because of COVID, there's a lot of people not doing things. But I know their Age of Humanity they had about how Halloween Day was pretty well attended for Shoshone, I thought, for for everything going on. And so I told them I'd do my best. I'd announce this, do my best to try to get a number of people, residents that would be interested in that. So anyway, I'm just putting that out there, and anybody, and we'll put out some sort of newsletter or something about that. But like I said, I was just contacted this afternoon about that. So, and they asked to speak to our town's health department. And I said, well, we don't have one. We are building a clinic. Oh, they said, yeah. You realize our size of our community, anyway. So anyway, it was fun. But anyway, they're again, they're trying to help the residents of our area. So anyway, I don't have anything else for the betterment of our community. Does anybody else?
Move we adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and second. Do I have any further discussion? None being. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned at 8:58. Got them before 9.
Barely.
Wow, this is fair. It's better than 11.
But
Yeah.
they're ready.
We're still live.